Welcome to the Fans Edge Sports Show, hosted by 216 Mike and EG Laflare, and produced by your very own Walt K Disney. This is a sports show with a college football focus that allows fans to create the discussion.
So, what we want y'all to do is subscribe to our show and social media. We are on all platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. And we stream live every Sunday night with a replay on podcast platforms coming to you on Monday morning. Let's do it. What's good?
What's
Welcome,
happening?
welcome. Man,
Just living life, man. Just
this past
enjoying
week
life.
has been crazy. Week 5, we had a lot of injuries with some of our favorite players, and some of our teams had a rough week. But let's get right into it. I actually had someone mention how we are not talking about Brett Favre and him funneling money. So if you haven't heard, his cancer charity allegedly directed 130K to the University of Southern Mississippi Athletic. Far for Hope is the charity intended for people with cancer, and it sent more than 130K to the university over the span of around 4 years. And it's supposed to go to children and family with cancer, but apparently they're just putting it right back into the athletics. A lot of people say that the news, they're not talking. If Brett Favre was anyone else, he would definitely be more in the news. A little bit similar to the Michael Vick situation. Mike, I know we were talking a little bit about this before the show.
Yeah. So we have not talked about this on the show, but we have been discussing it on social media, and I think that Brett Favre should be stripped from his Hall of Fame things and everything. Like, this is a federal crime. This is ridiculous. As well. Like, this man stole from the poor, he stole from the needy. And anytime you have to send a text that says, hey, will the media or will someone find out about this? You know you're doing some shady business. You know you're doing some shady business. What happens in the dark gonna come to light, and it was meant to come to light because you ain't using no burner phone to do this. You ain't had no middleman to communicate this. None of that. So it was all shady from the beginning. Like you said, if this was, the whole Mike Vick thing was on every news source, helicopters all around this house. I don't see no helicopters. I don't see nobody at Brett Favre's front door. None of that, bro. We know exactly what this is.
But hey, man, the stripping of the NFL Hall of Fame thing, I don't know. I don't agree with that part, but everything else is said. I feel like he should be charged with some type of federal crime. He should do his time. He should be punished the way he should be punished for doing a federal crime. Sometimes people with money they get over on a lot of things, and he know the system. I don't think it should bother his football life, but what he did, I mean, he needs some type of punishment because, like Mike said, if it was one of us, if it was one of the guys, if it was one of our people, it would be headlining everywhere. It would be
If it was
all over
Donovan
every
McNabb,
outlet. Right, right.
yeah.
Exactly.
I yeah. I honestly, I'm gonna tell you why I feel like you know it should be why he should be stripped, right?
Right.
Because a certain individual stood up for human rights and they stripped him from his complete career, blackballed him, right? To the point where you had to settle out of court or whatever. Also, the NFL wants to say that they like to disassociate themselves from certain people who do things like this with heinous crimes and stuff like this. And I just feel like this is the low of the low. You're a dirtbag. Disassociate yourself from this guy, period. His name should not live on. He's a scumbag. Why should he be attached to the NFL if this is supposed to be about NFL greats? You're not a great, period. I don't
I
care
Yeah.
what
feel
you
you.
did on the field. You're not a great. I don't want you associated with the organization, period.
Hey,
And
that's
I
understandable.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. And I think it hurts worse, especially because this money was going towards a good cause. You know, you got infants and
Right,
kids and
right,
people with cancer. And then there's another source saying that he may also be linked to an ongoing scandal with ex Mississippi Governor Phil Bryant. The pair also used welfare funds to build a new volleyball stadium for his daughter that plays for the school as well. So I feel, they
The
said with more
poorest
money.
state in the freaking country. The poorest state in the freaking country. There are more people on welfare in Mississippi than any other freaking state per capita.
right,
Exactly.
The low of the lows. You
Exactly.
don't care about human beings. Period. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, if you have blatant disregard for just human life, human people, period, you want why? I just cannot believe it's not being talked about more.
right.
Exactly. And I'm not sure, but and I've been seeing a lot of posts on Twitter and social media. The water in Mississippi, the quality of water there is horrible right now. They're turning on their, sinks and faucets and different things like that, and it's just brown. So I know the whole state of Mississippi right now is struggling, and just more news coming out about this.
Another
It's
Flint
just
incident.
disheartening. Yep.
Another Flint, and no, yeah, we ain't. We gonna try to stick to sports because that's a whole nother topic, bruh.
Right,
Oh
right.
yeah. Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. But just know that we're still following this story. So with more updates, we'll bring you more news for sure. But let's get into some college football and some week 5 recap. Coming up first, we had NC State take on Clemson. And Clemson walks away with the dub. The defensive battle got a little was most of the game until Clemson became too much to handle for NC State. DJ was tremendous for a coach, completing 21 of 30 passes for 209 yards with one touchdown and zero interceptions. He also added 73 rushing yards and two more scores on the ground. So EG, I know you had Clemson for this game. Did you? So what do you think?
Well, I feel like DJ is finally stepping into that role where he has to take over for the team. He's doing what he can with his arms, with his legs. We're seeing that guy we expected to see. He's taking over and he's winning games. I think this was a big win for them. Although when I was watching that game, I heard that NC State has never beat a team that was ranked in the top 10 ever. But so I think Clemson was supposed to win that game, but also just a good game for DJ, man. I'm happy to see him take over and be that Superman for them. He looked good after he done lost his weight. He's running the ball better. He's throwing the
Yes.
ball better. Hey, Clemson, the sky's the limit for Clemson.
Oh yeah. I know a lot of people ask what happened to Clemson, but I feel like we're seeing a little bit of that this season. Mike, what you think? What's your take?
Man, this game went how I kind of thought like it would. It was honestly in the very beginning of the game. It was just defenses going back and forth, and these offenses could not do anything. And then the guys would get down in the red zone, and them zones start getting smaller and everything. And it honestly came to who is tougher. And I will say this. I'm gonna say this because I have been noticing this about Clemson with them having issues with the running game in big time games, right? And they normally end up having to try to get the running back out in space. Will Shipley might be the best running back that they have had in the past couple of years, just even better than Travis Etienne. And I tell you this because I don't believe Travis Etienne was really that good running in between the tackles when he was in college. And Will Shipley was just carrying the whole team on his back, like the whole front seven. He was running through, finding creases, finding holes. Every yard that he got in that game, was earned at least. So shout out to Will Shipley. He did his thing. And Clemson's defense at the end, they had the cardio, they had the stamina, they had the guys to prevail. NC State got a little bit more building, but Clemson got their revenge in the end.
Oh yeah, NC State did prove that they have a long way to go to become a contender. Clemson did limit Leary to just 247 yards on 47 attempts. So that defense, like you said, definitely a defensive battle there. And the other game we had, Kentucky taking on Ole Miss. Ole Miss walking away with the dub. Kentucky did fall short on this one. We had Kentucky's quarterback who fumbled twice within the final 3 minutes of the game. Ole Miss now has a fantastic shot to move to 7-0. I think this is for the first time since 2014. I want to say. Or 5-0. The Ole Miss is 5-0 for the first time since 2014. So this is a big move for Ole Miss and momentum as they continue SEC play. EG, I know you know. I know you already. I know you had Kentucky on this game. So tell me your thoughts going into this game and what you hope that Kentucky would have done better.
I mean, the game was right there for Kentucky to win, man. Honestly, I felt like Kentucky had a better defense going into this game, and Will Levis, he had a couple tough plays that just end up blowing the game. Like they made so many mistakes throughout the game, Kentucky did, and still had a legitimate chance to go down there and win a game-winning drive when the guy fumbled. Sometimes you get caught up in trying to be the man for your team, and it costs you mistakes. But I mean, shout out to Ole Miss. Ole Miss is a very unique team this year because we all know Lane Kiffin likes to throw the ball, but this year they're more of a balanced team. Those guys can actually run the ball. They got a running back who's actually running the ball, and they use several running backs. And so, like I said, Ole Miss is unique this year. Their defense isn't quite as tough as I would like to see it, but they got a lot of guys transferred in. You know, Kentucky had a few guys transferred to Kentucky from Ole Miss, so it's a lot of transfer portal things going on. But Ole Miss looks good. Ole Miss is balanced. They can run the ball, they can pass the ball. Good win, Ole Miss. Even though I had Kentucky winning it.
Oh yeah, Mike.
Yeah, man. I mean, if I told you that Lincoln in a Lincoln Riley offense that the rushing game would look better than the passing game, you'd be like, "Dang, man, that don't even sound like a Lincoln Riley offense, man." But Ole Miss outrushed Kentucky, um, averaging 4.8 yards, where Kentucky was only averaging 2.9 yards. Like you said, Will Levis, he did not look that good at all. Had a QBR of 47.8, and obviously, like I had said last week, I cannot count out a Lane Kiffin quarterback. I cannot count out Lane Kiffin anything. You know what I'm saying? QBR, all of that. So at the end of the day, Lane Kiffin did what he had to do. And I also want to say shout out to Ole Miss because in the fourth quarter, they were able to hold surge. Even though Ole Miss did not score in the fourth quarter, the defense ended up winning that game for them.
Right, right.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ole Miss will face Vanderbilt in
Did
week
I say
6.
Lincoln Riley earlier when I was talking
You
about the
did.
Yeah,
offense?
you did. I got you. I got you
Golly.
though. I got you though. It's okay. Um, the Rebels will be hopefully well they will be favorites against Vanderbilt in week 6, and Kentucky will host South Carolina in week 6. So we'll see what happens for the both of them as we continue SEC play. And moving on to some Oklahoma news. Oklahoma State wins against Baylor. I take the L in this game. And the only reason why I picked Baylor is because they were definitely one of my top college football playoffs team. So I kind of wanted Baylor to pull away from this, but I did give Oklahoma State the game ball a couple weeks ago because I know that these boys can produce. Uh, I just think that OSU is now officially the best team in Oklahoma. And Baylor, they're just falling short this year. I know Mike and I, we chatted a little bit about, Baylor coming, having that momentum last year, but this year, they're still trying to find that identity. So, Mike, what you have?
Yeah, I first want to correct you on that OSU comment. No, it is Okie State, Oklahoma State. They are not no OSU. There is only one.
I can say that I have checked with people in Oklahoma, and they do call
I,
it OSU. So hey, that's between y'all.
I
Look,
don't care what they say. There's
that's
only
between.
there can only be one, like the Jet Li movie, man. But like I said, Baylor, they had the momentum of last year being new. You kind of caught Oklahoma State where they were only able to they were Oklahoma State was only able to like rely on their defense more than their offense last year, and their defense won them several games. EG, was even has talked about that as well. And this year, when you see Spencer Sanders, when he's in an offense that he has chemistry with, players that he has been around a little bit, he looks a little bit better. And also, they had a little hiccup in the beginning of the season. Oklahoma State, didn't look too good. And I remember last week I was saying, hey, they don't look all the way there. And obviously it's because they lost one of the best defensive coordinators, in college football. And for their defense to pull it out and seal the game, to win that game multiple times. Man, shout out to Oklahoma State, man. And they got that culture and that identity, and that's what they're able to stick with.
Man, Oklahoma State looking good, man. They're you see their ranking is probably gonna go up. I think they won 11 games last year, and they're 4-0 now. So that's like they're like about 15 and 2 in the last 2 years so far. I mean, this is a good team. They got the defense, but they also have offense now. They run the ball with more than two guys. I know at least two guys had over 14 touches. One guy had 24. I think he was actually the backup. He had 24 touches. Another guy had 6 touches. So just looking more balanced this year. Baylor is just a team. I mean, they can't when that game was on, Baylor came out struggling. They had a strong third quarter that kind of gave them hope. But then again, when they went into the fourth quarter, it's like it's all about adjustments. Oklahoma State adjusted, they didn't score again. So they started struggling. They had a good third quarter, then came out in the fourth and couldn't do anything. So credit Oklahoma State for playing defense, making adjustments, and just looking like the better team.
Big facts, man. Oh, there we go. I was like, it looked
Oh,
like you froze up for a minute there, dude.
yeah, like she was taking a selfie over there.
Can y'all hear me? Okay, there we go.
Uh-oh.
All
Okay.
right. Are you froze, Mike?
No,
Oh
I'm
no.
not. As Disney froze out again.
I'm
Oh,
struggling over here. Uh-oh.
bounce
We
back, Diz.
struggling big
Bounce back.
time. Hey,
You got it, Diz.
okay, there we go. Oklahoma State faces Texas Tech next week before going and facing TCU, and TCU's on the up and up. So we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see what happens in the upcoming weeks. And with the week 5 pick totals, we got Mike coming in with 3-0. Both me and EG ending up with 2-1. So
Mm.
we'll see how week 6 comes up, especially
Hey,
when we get
you
into
above
these.
500. That's what all that matters. You know what I'm saying? You
Hey,
above 500 when it come to picking team, especially in college football.
It's tough. It's tough
It's
hey,
around this time of
definitely
year.
tough. Yeah.
it's definitely tough, and
And
we get into
and
conference play for sure.
and Disney, we talked about this off camera, but that's the thing. The whole difference about this is now you have 5 weeks, 4 weeks of seeing teams. So you can catch those. The tendencies are there. Most of these teams are having to put a lot of what they're doing on film. And hey, when you're able to bottle some teams up and do some things, it's forcing some teams to fight through a little bit of their weaknesses.
Oh yeah, and definitely like
Absolutely.
EG was saying, between the Oklahoma State and Baylor game, go into the locker room and make some adjustments and, come out stronger. So, yeah, it's about to get real crazy, especially with
Hey,
this conference play.
if you don't got depth right now, like it's starting to show, man. Like the teams with the most depth right now is just That's who's gonna survive the longest, man. And I don't know what's going on in Athens right now. I don't know what's going on with Georgia right now. Things are starting to come to light, and a lot of the top teams are starting to, I see Ohio State, they're bouncing back without Trevion Henderson. They bounced back with another guy, Mayan, what's his name, Mayan Williams.
Yep.
Hey, that guy showed up big time this week. But that's all I'm gonna say about him because I got him on my picks later on. But go ahead.
All right. Getting into some week 6 previews. We got the Tennessee Vols taking on LSU uh down at South. It's gonna be Saturday at 11 a.m. on ESPN. And what I can say is, I mean, we're about to see one of the top quarterbacks in the SEC go down there and get this dub. Tennessee is the road favorite. They're coming off a bye week and they're well rested. What I'm concerned about is, will Tillman be able to play? So I need to figure out how he is dealing with his health wise, and also for my fantasy. So EG, I know you're one of the Tennessee fans out there, you know, especially a Hooker fan. So what you got for this game?
Hey, that's my fantasy quarterback, man. I expect Tennessee to run away with this one pretty easy, man. Every time you watch LSU, they're making a bunch of mistakes. I'm talking special teams mistakes, fumbled snaps, throwing crazy passes. It's just a whole lot going on with LSU right now. I'm surprised they're still in the top 25. I don't see how good they are, but I expect Tennessee to go down there and put up big numbers with or without Tillman, man. That offense is rolling. I'm ready to see Tennessee build up this momentum to play Georgia. That's what we're waiting on.
It's gonna be a huge game. It's definitely gonna
Let's
be a huge
go.
game.
Yeah, I'm really shocked that LSU is ranked because I do not believe that they should be ranked at all. I don't believe
Absolutely
that
not.
that they're a team. Let me read this stat off. 8 completions on 20 attempts for a quarterback.
Daniels, what's his name?
Yes,
Daniels.
Jaden
Jaden
Daniels,
Daniels.
bro. The transfer from Arizona State, I believe. Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
they don't have any passing game. They passed for 85 yards in the whole game. It baffles me how Auburn even lost this game because if you like just look at the stats, Auburn passing 337 compared to LSU 85, rushing LSU outrushed them 185 to 101 to Auburn's, but I mean you make up for that with all of the passing that you had, like so that just tells me neither one of these teams were good. We already knew what Auburn was. We already knew Auburn wasn't good. And the fact that LSU struggled with this team, I mean, just Tennessee all day. Definitely give me Tennessee in this game.
Oh yeah.
And Hendon Hooker is going to do his thing. Um, I just couldn't believe what I saw from an LSU team. I tried to tell people about Brian Kelly, like he's not set up or good for these like later games or night games. Like if it's something that's supposed to be a primetime game, he's gonna fail. And nobody believed me. Nobody wanted to listen to me. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's not it's not the players. We got the talent. Like he's never had talent like this at LSU." And I'm like, "It's the coach." Like I'm trying to tell you, but hey.
Oh
Tough.
yeah. And a lot of people are like, I did ask the question, is Brian Kelly ready for the SEC? And after these first
Yeah.
couple of games,
He ain't
But
want
you
no
know,
smoke in the Big Ten.
But
yeah,
you know, man, LSU is such a prestigious university. You got some of the best athletes coming out of Louisiana, and they just want to play for LSU. So that's some of the benefit, man, because you're gonna get some players coming to LSU. Brian
The,
Kelly just got to know what to do with those
the sad
guys.
part is the top LSU players have committed somewhere else.
Yeah, the
The
top Louisiana
LSU,
players.
yeah.
Yeah,
So he
yeah.
has rubbed a lot of people wrong in Louisiana, and I'll tell you what I think it is. He came down there with the fake accent, and you're not authentic. Why would I send my kids to anywhere where you're not authentic?
I feel
exactly.
that.
Exactly. Coming up, we definitely got another. Well, we have a rivalry game coming up this week. Texas taking on Oklahoma Saturday at 11 on ABC. Um, hoping that Quinn Ewers. Well, I'm not hoping because I have on a Sooners jersey, but Quinn Ewers is supposed to make an appearance during this game. I know they've been keeping him off uh, out just so he can come back for this big rivalry game. Hudson Card had a big game against West Virginia, from what I think, and I know West Virginia is not a contender, but he's still, as a backup, 21. He was 21 for 27 for 303 yards and no picks. I think there is a little bit of trouble for Oklahoma, because Dylan Gabriel did get injured. So I think he's pretty questionable for this Texas matchup, as the OU quarterback Davis had to play for him at the end of that game. EG Mike, which did any of you catch this game and see
Yeah,
Dylan get
man.
hit?
I honestly I saw it. It was dirty, and I think I think the player, like, I feel like he had ample amount of time to let up. I feel like also he had ample amount of time to adjust to where he could have dove over Dylan Gabriel as well. I think that he, this is why I say that this targeting, it needs to be reviewed, because it needs to show if there's ill malicious intent. And if it is malicious intent, then it should be more than just half of a game, right? Like, there should be
Right.
some severe consequences. And it just sucks, because after what we saw Tua go through, and it's like, why would any player want to do that to another person? I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I play football. Like, you want to hurt someone, but I've never headhunted like that. I never believed in that. Like, I know football is a violent sport. I feel bad for Dylan Gabriel. I have not heard any updates. One thing that college football doesn't have to do is they don't have to disclose anything. And one thing that coaches like this will do in this game is they will have you thinking that Dylan's probably playing for this in this game, and he's probably not. So what Texas now has to do on defense is they have to prepare for both quarterbacks. That's the thing about that. But this Texas team, it's a completely different team under Quinn Ewers. I don't believe in Brett Venables' defense. I think that it is starting to get exposed. It's starting to, if he cannot take your sign, it's that defense is food. And I believe Stark has seen this before, and think Stark is going to eat Oklahoma alive, bro. I really
Hey,
believe,
man.
like, if Quinn is playing in this game, it's going to be nasty.
Man, talk about needing a victory this week. Oklahoma really needs to win this week. I don't know how they're going to get it done, but they really need it after getting embarrassed by TCU. I don't think anyone saw that coming. Although TCU is an undefeated team, Oklahoma was ranked pretty high going into this game, and it's just they got embarrassed.
They didn't
I
look like they
mean,
should have been on the field.
right. And so I feel like Oklahoma really needs this game, but if I had to pick a team, I would go with Texas because Texas looks really physical this year to play with people, man. Their quarterback spot is still a question, but they still have a top five running back in the country. They'll be able to run the ball and help the QB do a better job at doing play actions and getting some stuff dialed up. So I'm going with Texas in this game, man.
Okay. Did we have some comments?
Yeah, I couldn't read it.
Oh, Drizzy Dance. He said, "Did I miss the Alabama talk already?"
Yeah, man,
Iffy
we're not
fan
talking
corner
about
coming
that.
up.
Yep, yep. We got that at the end. So just hold on, just 2 seconds. We definitely got that coming up. Go ahead and post that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then moving on. Speaking of TCU, we got TCU taking on Kansas this upcoming Saturday at 11 a.m. on Fox Sports. TCU comes in as the 5-point favorite. They racked up 688 yards and with 361 yards coming off the ground, and had four touchdowns of 60 or more yards and scoring points against OU. So I mean, are they coming in with some momentum? But Kansas is they are undefeated in this one, so somebody's gonna walk away undefeated on this one. Mike, what you got for it?
Yeah, man. Both teams are undefeated in this. Both one is ranked 17 in TCU. Kansas is ranked 19th. I do not believe that they are getting the respect that they deserve. But I will say this: Kansas has not really been here before. TCU has. And also Max Duggan is experienced in this. He he knows exactly what he's doing. My man was scooting down the field. I thought he was running in slow motion, but he was running away from them Oklahoma players. And I thought Oklahoma was recruiting better, than TCU. So I'm going to go ahead and take TCU in this game. Give me the experience with Max Duggan, the rushing game of Kendre Miller, and then they got Tay Barber for at wide receiver.
Nice. Well, me, man, I'm going with to believe it or not, I'm going with Kansas in this game, man. Like Mike said, they're not experienced, they're not used to being here. But if I had to point out who I think is like the best player on that field, I would pick Kansas quarterback Jalen Daniels, man. The guy can pass the ball. The guy can run the ball. I think he's got that dynamic that you can't game plan for, and TCU will struggle. Oklahoma, when TCU played Oklahoma, they had to swap quarterbacks, but those guys aren't as mobile as Jalen Daniels. I feel like Jalen Daniels is a little more mobile to kind of bring a different aspect. So I'm gonna go with Kansas in this game, man. I expect a close game. I like what Kansas quarterback is doing. I'm going with Kansas.
That's a pretty good pick. I might be following along with EG on that. I just think Kansas has that momentum going into this game. TCU, I feel like they can slip up and mess up at any time. So we'll definitely see next week, what comes true. And then for that last,
I don't mind holding. Man, I'm gonna stand in the paint.
okay, go ahead, Mike, with that TCU. And the final game that we have number 11 Utah versus number 18 UCLA this upcoming Saturday at 2:30 on Fox. UCLA won this past Friday night. The QB Thompson Robinson played one of the top games in his of the five years as a Bruin. So he threw for 315 yards with 3 touchdowns and another rushing score to keep them on top. And when it comes to Utah, I had Utah as one of my picks as well. They did have a 42-16 victory over Oregon State. It wasn't as one-sided. Utah did struggle a little bit coming into this, so we'll see who takes away the dub on this. EG, who do you have?
Oh man. So when it comes to UCLA, man, it's just like I can't really watch their games to the fullest because sometimes they play a little later than I would like, being all the way out there in California. But what I did notice from UCLA, they have a quarterback who's been there for a while. He's been there for a while, and he can. I mean, last week that was a solid victory beating Washington because Washington was a pretty good team coming into this game, man. And Thompson Robinson came in threw for 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, and also rushed for 53 yards. So I feel like he's a great person to have on your team. I need to watch UCLA a little more, but I feel like Utah is gaining their momentum as well, man. I saw my guy Clark Phillips with a pick six. He's finally showing up. He's one of the top rated DBs in the country. So Utah is putting some things together, man. They're still ranked pretty high. And if I had to go with somebody, I'd pick Utah in this game.
Yeah, man. It looked like Chip Kelly at UCLA seems to be getting things rolling with his team on the offensive side of the ball. I still need to see more consistency out of them. Utah was one of my teams and probably still one of my teams to compete in the Pac-12 championship. And Utah is known for defense, always having the defense. And I do want to see how Chip Kelly schemes up because I think that he's gonna have to stay away from Clark Phillips area. in this game. So then when you're only having to use like maybe one side of the field or whatever, maybe that will work in Utah's favor because I know Utah can sit there and say, hey, I can trust Clark Phillips man to man on someone. I can do that. So we can take away their best receiver. We can do that. And then I also trust in Utah's front seven. I also like what I saw from Utah offensively. It looks like they're starting to get the game rolling. And as we talked about earlier, it's about those halftime adjustments. And that's exactly what Utah was able to do, and that's why the game like went from being like what was it, like 13 to what was it, like 13 to 21 or whatever at half, to being like 14-16. So
Nice.
Oh yeah, Drizzy Dance has UCLA winning. And going into that, we have the game balls. So I'll start off first since coming off of this UCLA Utah. I actually was thinking about giving my game ball to, because I did happen to catch this game on Friday, to Dorian Thompson Robinson. And the defensive side of UCLA. I mean, even though they did allow a touchdown on opening drive, UCLA did force a safety, field goal, interception, punt, and another interception on the rest of the Washington team in the first half. So I mean, they definitely did put on a show on Friday night on ESPN. And again, Dorian Thompson Robinson played one of his top games. He is a veteran quarterback for throwing 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown on that. So that's why I want to go ahead and give my game ball to UCLA, and hopefully they walk away with a win next week. EG?
Well, I got to give mine to the running back at Ohio State, Mayan Williams. I mean, here's a guy he's I think he's a junior, if I'm not mistaken. He's behind a running back who's probably a little younger than him, Travion Henderson. Is Travion Henderson a sophomore?
yeah, true
All right,
sophomore,
so
and
he
mine's
he
a true junior.
right, so he's sitting behind a guy that's younger than him, and in this game he stepped up and he had against Rutgers he had 21 carries, 189 yards, 5 touchdowns. So that's the way to have. So Ohio State has depth, and just bringing the next guy up when someone is sitting out, man. And it's just great to see a team to be able to do that. Even though my team, we usually don't have guys that can do that, but it's good to see somebody do it. Mayan Williams, he gets my game ball for those 5 touchdowns against Rutgers.
Yeah, man. And see, I tried to tell a lot of Ohio State fans this preseason. I said I think that Mayan should be our number one running back. Go ahead, and because of how he fights for the yardage, he might not get you all of the the big burst yards. And actually, he did have a long run in this game
Hmm.
as well, but he might not normally give you that all the time like Travion does. But the good thing about him is he's always going to get you forward progress. He's always going to get you them tough yards, and he's a bruiser as well, man. And it's crazy how he brags about how he slimmed down just to be where he's at, and he feels in the best shape of his life. I also picked a running back. I'm sorry, I had to pick my guy Jameer Gibbs with 18 carries, with 206 yards and 2 tutties, man. Bryce Young went down with injury early in the game, like in the beginning of the second quarter. Um, Honestly, I don't know why he just didn't tuck the ball and stuff, and why he did what he did. I think him trying to throw the ball away is what got him hurt. But they said, "Hey, man, uh, you know, young quarterback, we don't truly trust in you. We want to put the game in someone else's hands." And Arkansas was supposed to have one of a good front seven, and just what Jameer Gibbs was just able to do, having a 76-yard long run out there, and you could just see Bama's offensive line just beginning to wear and helping him pop out, man. Jameer Gibbs went ham. He also had 20 yards reception as well, man. So shout out to Jameer Gibbs.
Hey, EG, Drizzy Dance got something for you. EG giving out the game ball to Ohio State after all that trash talk I hear from
Hey man, like I said, I can be honest. I can be honest at the same time. I'm gonna talk crap, man. So who talk crap to me? That's just how the game goes, man. The running back played good, man. He's sitting behind a guy that's younger than him, and he still was able to keep a level head and come in there and be the running back for them when they need it, man. Shouts out to him, man. He's a junior, man. This is his money season. He should be, especially as a running back. So for him to
Yeah.
sit there and wait his turn, you gotta tilt your hat to that.
He was supposed to be playing at Iowa State, and then
Right.
Ohio State got him later because they missed out on guys like Bijan and some others. So.
How long Trevion out?
Huh?
How long is Trevion dealing with
Uh,
this situation?
Honestly, what Ryan Day said was that Travion was supposed to play that game. Something happened or whatever that they didn't like. They didn't like what they saw in the pregame, and that's when they decided that he wasn't going to play. In pregame, he said he was shocked that Travion wasn't able to go and play. But honestly, like I'm just gonna be real. I like that our team is showing depth. Like EG said, like it's a long season, and us being without Travion, us being without JSN, still having a number one offense, that depth is helping out. But I'm just hoping that they're holding these guys out, because when it comes to that Penn State game, we need everybody healthy, man. Because Penn
Absolutely.
State looks like one of them teams this year, like they can give us a run for their money. I did see, we got some guys asking questions for our TFE fan corner. Uh, they want to discuss the Rutgers kick out of the Rutgers kick out of
Hey,
Big
that fake
Ten. They're
punt was
crying like a baby
unnecessary,
over a
man.
fake punt.
you. Day was
The,
hot.
So,
you guys were up by how many points when that punt
all
happened?
right. So I want everybody to go rewatch the film, so this way you know it's not a fake punt. So if you understand how Australian punters kick, they get this weird running to the side,
Right, running
and
to the.
then
We
they
got one
kick.
ourselves.
Yeah. So what Rutgers did was they loaded up on one side trying to go block this punt, right? It's not like they were trying to not block a punt. They were trying to block a punt, right? Well, they all shoot towards a different way from where he was. And as he was holding the ball and he was about to go kick, and he's like, there's nobody in front of me. There's green grass. And he takes off running. And then as he gives himself up and gets out of bounds, a Rutgers player comes missiling down.
They
And it
hit
was
him
on the
good too.
it was on the Ohio State side. And the players literally, I watched a Ohio State player pick the dude up and throw him off of the sideline. Shout out to the guy. He didn't fight back. He just went to the other side, but it was his teammates who kind of got in the skirmish. Greg Schiano comes all the way from the other side, and instead of him grabbing his players and walking them back, it seemed like he went straight to Ryan Day. And I gotta discuss this because some people don't know. Greg Schiano had worked with Ryan Day in 2017, 2018, right?
Right.
Or whatever. And Ryan Day started getting the reins of the play calling in 2018. And Ohio State had one of their worst defenses in Ohio State history. At this time, it was one of the worst defenses in Ohio State history in 2018 because of Greg Schiano. Well, Ryan Day said, hey, I'm not bringing anybody back from that defensive staff other than Larry Johnson. And he went and got a whole new. And I do think that Greg Schiano feels like, hey, there should have been some loyalty there. I was there for you and gave you guidance when, the whole Urban Meyer debacle and you was named interim head coach. Like, so the fact that he didn't grab his players and he went straight after Ryan Day, like they say that they good friends and stuff, but I just feel like that's political talk. Like, I think that there is some
You know how it
animosity.
goes.
And, I tweeted out there, I say, hey, man, he just mad Ryan Day told him his defense was poo cheese. You know,
You
like
know how
Ryan
it
Day looked like
goes,
he was about to
man.
fire him again. I
He was,
mean, why would you hire a guy's defense who you continuously put up 49, 56 points on?
All right, one
true.
second. So,
Yeah. Drizzy's uh Drizzy's dad said he said next season I want Ohio State to put up at least 100 on them.
Yeah, I
So
don't
I
blame him.
hey, I feel like it. I feel you on that one. Let's see. Going tracking back.
I know Drizzy Daz got something that he want to say,
Yes,
so
I
go
know you
ahead,
got
Drizzy, get it off your chest, get it off
about
your
this Arkansas
chest, Drizzy.
Alabama.
hey man, what do you want to discuss, man? Let's go, Drizzy Dance. I'm here for you, sir. What do you want me to
EG
say?
said he's
We
standing in
suck.
the paint, man. He's standing in the paint.
We suck. Like I'm here. Like I'm gonna ride for my team until they show it. Like we can't be the backup quarterback. We can't defend nothing. Like we can't do nothing. Like I don't know what you want me to say, man. The SEC is down outside of the top teams, man. So we'll slip up and get some wins. Like I say, we still got to play Auburn, LSU. Those are pretty winnable games. We got Missouri, very winnable, and the Mississippi team is going to be tough. We also got Liberty. So hey, what you need me to say, man? I didn't expect to beat Alabama. I don't think you expected us to beat them either. So I'm trying to see what you need me to say. I mean, 10-2 is still very possible, man. We lost the games we were supposed to lose so far, except Texas A&M. We lost to Bama, so we got the two L's out the way. We just have to win every other game, which is very possible.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
there's not a team on our schedule that I can just say, oh, we're outright losing to them. I mean, Ole Miss is good. Mississippi State is better than us right now, but they can still be beat.
Yeah, let's check out this schedule.
Hey EG, how can Arkansas fill in those gaps and holes that you saw this last game?
Man, we're never in the right defensive package. We just seems like we always get caught off guard with something, man. I just want to see us just play the right defense. Like we were stopping them. We were stopping them when we needed to at first, and then it's like when that depth, when it's not there, you get to wearing down in that third quarter. You get to disappearing. You get to seeing guys go for 70. On 3rd and 15, we gave up a 60-yard touchdown or a 60-yard run, almost touchdown. It's just defense is terrible right now, man.
So
Odom, he needs some work right now, man. He's not in the right packages. He's waiting too late to get in different sets. I don't know if we don't have the players for the personnel he likes. I don't know, man. It's a lot going on, man. It's hard to talk about, man. I hate talking about it, but
yeah, y'all got
just
y'all
gotta
got
move forward.
Mississippi State, who's ranked coming up 20. They're ranked 23rd. We'll see if they're ranked by the the week after, and then you got to go to BYU, and for some reason the AP voters think that BYU is this team or whatever. I look at BYU as a group of five type team, so I don't have much faith in them. But like
And
I
that's
felt like you guys struggled against Missouri State, who had an offense. Cincinnati, I mean, it was week one, but I mean, what do you think about BYU?
I think we'll beat BYU. My thing is BYU. They're not a team that has a dominant area on the field. They have a decent defense. They got a decent wide receiver. It's just they're not dominant at one thing. So I feel like when we go out there and just play football, we can beat guys that don't have something they can rely on over and over, and that works regardless of who out there. So I feel like we got a good chance. Like I said, man, people always say Missouri State, Missouri State. Oklahoma State went 11-2 last year. They beat Missouri State by a touchdown at the last minute. So this is a team
Mhm.
that can actually play. I don't want to keep that as our identity just because we played Missouri State tough. Missouri State has played a lot of teams that are ranked in the top 10 tough. Like I said, Oklahoma State was last year. They played two great teams last year and played them close. We just happen to have them this year. And I don't like that that's our identity, but at the same time, man, our defense is struggling regardless of who we playing, and that's our fault, man. Like we just have to make these adjustments. We lost our All American safety. We're banged up. We got a guy who had a bad calf last game, who's our second best defender in the secondary, Slusher. He was banged up last game. Couldn't keep up with anybody. It's just a lot going on right now. So you guys
Got
think
you,
Bryce
man.
Young
Yeah,
is
I
out for
will
the
say
year?
this, like, yeah, Missouri, they've played or beaten some other teams or whatever, or played some other teams close who are, top 10 and stuff. But like this year, bro, they freaking slaw, bro. Like
Yeah.
losing to Dakota State by 14. Uh North Dakota State smacked them. Like
And those
everybody
two
putting
teams
up
you just
like,
named, bro, you know how many championships they have been in and been won in the last in their conference? Those teams aren't sorry, but I mean, I'm not here to evaluate Missouri State. I don't care. They
yeah,
played us well. I know that any team with a good offense will challenge us anyway because we're struggling
okay,
on defense.
Mm-hmm.
gotcha.
Those
Can-
numbers. Drizzy Dance asked if Bryce Young is out for long. Hopefully that
Act like
shoulder
he's coming
sprain.
back. Right. It
Yeah.
says
Nah,
it's a
I
sprain.
I think
Yeah.
he has the same type of injury that CJ Stroud dealt with last year. Um, my concern with this whole thing is I remember Tua being injured. They rushed Tua back. He got he got hit pretty hard once, and he was just done for the season. Right, had to have surgery and all of that stuff. Bryce is not a big guy, and part of Bryce's game is running around. Part of Bryce's game is getting out of the pocket, which exposes him to those types of hits and things like that. So, can he continue to be hit that way? Can he continue to take that? What I would like to see them do is try to rest him and not rush to bring him back, but I feel like they're going to have no choice but to bring him back and make him play through it. Apparently, I believe Nick Saban said that this isn't the first time that this has happened to Bryce. I think the kid should get some rest.
But
I
hey,
mean, we
man,
literally saw CJ get some rest or whatever, and then he came back and when he came back, he was just like a whole different quarterback. So
I don't know who Alabama faces in these next 2 weeks, but if they can, they need to rest them. Although they won't win many games with their backup quarterback. I mean, they were able to escape us because we were just terrible right now, but they they won't win many games. That guy's not accurate yet. He's an athlete, but he's not
they play
accurate yet
Texas A&M next. I think that they can beat Texas A&M with a
with the backup.
backup
Yeah,
quarterback. Yeah,
maybe they can beat Texas A&M. So I want
yeah.
them to rest Bryce for a little while, man. You need him for the SEC
For
championship
they need him for that Tennessee game.
Yeah,
and that
they played
Tennessee game,
Tennessee right
right?
after.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's why
So
I'm
rest
saying
them.
like the Texas A&M game is not the game because if Texas A&M get a sack on him, them big boys gonna fall directly on top of him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then it's gonna be the whole. I'm telling you, especially with what's going on right now, it's gonna be Nick Saban did this before with two Russian guys, but I just don't want to see it for Bama, man. I don't want to see
Yeah.
it.
And Tua, praise up to him. He been taking a beating this week, man. It's been
Yeah.
crazy.
Drizzy
Uh,
Dad said he bookmarking you. He bookmarking you.
Oh, so you don't think we're good enough to beat BYU? Okay, man. I mean, if you watched BYU and saw something spectacular, let me know. I've watched them twice this year. They've they've lost one of the games I watched and they've won. I don't see what's so special about them. But hey, if you think they're better than us, that's fine, man. They won't be able to stop our run game.
he
What do you
asked what
guys
we
think
thought
about
about
Georgia? Georgia's in trouble, man. Tennessee's coming soon. Kentucky's coming soon. And the way Missouri played them, they better be scared of Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going on with their offense. They could not get down the field. They could not get down the field. You can't throw to a tight end. I mean, somebody's going to put somebody on that tight end, man, because if a DB's on him, he's fast enough to guard him. Linebackers ain't going to always line up with Brock Bowers. So it's just
Yeah.
it's about what they're going to do with their offense, man.
See, week one, you can lose some games. Week one, you can win some games or whatever. And it really doesn't kind of tell you the full story, right? Because You had Oregon was a new team, had no identity, no culture, no nothing what they had, implement everything new. Defense, offense, all of that, right? So they got smacked. Completely smacked, right? Everybody, we all jump on this. Georgia, oh my God, we've never seen, they got an offense. Oh my God. But these guys had just implemented a new defense first game that they played in, right? Go up against Samford, which is a G5 to lower school, right? They struggled a little bit. It's kicking a lot of field goals. South Carolina is what it is. We're not going to get into that. Kent State struggled against another group of 5 school. Wins 39-22. Okay. Then in Mizzou, you basically kick all field goals all game, and your last 2 scores is touchdowns against Mizzou. And you supposed to be, I mean, honestly, like I've been saying, I like exactly how my team, the Ohio State Buckeyes, would match up against them. I am not worried about their tight ends. I've seen, okay, Brock Byers supposed to be a first round draft pick. Drake May or Michael Mayer, whatever, the tight end from Notre Dame, supposed to be a first round draft pick as well, right? 2 guys. I liked how we used our safeties to smack the ish out of that tight end. And I like our safeties. As long as we healthy, I love the way we match up against Georgia. Georgia
My
look like
thing is
food to
this.
me.
My thing is this. If it's a chance for the championship to not come out of the SEC, it's right now. I mean, you still got to line up and play those guys, and you'll get that best effort when that time comes. Trust, but like if it's a time for the championship to not come out of SEC, it's right now because
Right.
I said it before the season even started. I thought the SEC was down. That's why I felt good about Arkansas' chances because of where the SEC is. Bama
And
looks beatable every week. And now Georgia is showing the same signs. So that's what I was saying before a game was ever played. The SEC is down. That's why I felt good about what the Razorbacks can do. But off topic of the Razorbacks, like I said, the championship can come from somewhere else this year. Who knows?
yeah, man. I also I know with our wide receivers, any of our wide receivers that Kelly Ringo got a guard, it's a wrap, bro. The refs just got to pull the flag because that man was jumping on everybody's back before the ball got there, and they picked and choose when they wanted to throw it and all of that, and it just seemed at the end of the game, they just couldn't find their flags. But yeah, I'll take any of my 1, 2, 5, maybe 6 wide receivers against Kelly Ringo. Yeah.
Yeah, Ringo's supposed to be his top DB in the
Nah,
country, man.
heck no.
Sometimes being on a good defense makes you look good.
Yep. Yep.
You know.
That does. I do gotta say, my DBs gotta get healthy, bro. We are playing with our 5th and 4th string. It is bad. I don't like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, who y'all play next week?
Who do we play? Oh, Cupcake, Michigan State.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Michigan State ain't what we thought they was gonna be this year either.
Yeah.
Another team that has fell down.
Yeah.
We realized Kenneth Walker is literally everything on that team, or was everything on that team last year. And Michigan State also, again, pass defense is trash. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, Ohio State didn't have a defense last year, and I think beat them like, what was it? A score like 40, 49 to like 6 or something like that. It was bad. Or like 9. It was bad.
Man.
That game was over quick. Like they just put the points up and then boom, left from there. And then we just played around in the second half. Like it was weird.
A lot of teams are being exposed this season. Hey, it's not what it used to be for sure. Oh,
Yeah,
Drizzy
I
Dance.
think 55-7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they ain't even get that 7 points. I think they got them 7 points maybe early in the game, and then it was a wrap.
Dang. Okay. Well, you guys got anything else?
No, it's about time to wrap it up. I gotta get
Yeah.
things going.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, we appreciate everyone tuning in to the Fans Edge tonight. If you did miss parts of the show tomorrow, make sure you catch us on all streaming platforms as well as podcast platforms for that playback. And make sure you like, subscribe, and follow all of our social media platforms as well for updates and tweets, chats, anything about college football. Go ahead and add us. And then with that, we are out.